Welcome to Chibuzo Math Physics. In today's video, we'll be dealing with the use of calculator, and I want to take you through the modes of the calculator, and we'll be reviewing Casio FX 991ES Plus. This is one of the most recommended kind of scientific standard calculator that will help you in your computation and numerical analysis. So let us first of all put the calculator on. You simply press the on button of the calculator. Beside the on button, you will see the mode of the calculator, which also is written setup. So let us press mode. The first function of in the mode is compound mode. The compound mode is being used for basic arithmetic calculations, like when we talk about arithmetic operations, when we talk about trigonometric functions, and many other kind of functions. That is when we use the arithmetic, or what we call the compound mode. You can observe that as soon as I press number 1, you have it written there, D, which means that it is in basic arithmetic functions, and now we are ready to compute. So let's go back to mode. Let's take number 2, which is complex mode. You will observe that number 2, as it is indicated here, number 2 is complex mode. Complex mode involves complex numbers calculations. When you have any calculations that is involving complex number, you simply use the complex mode. Let's take, for example, we have 2i because it is a complex number, plus 3 plus 3i. Let's say the answer to this will be something around 3 minus 22i. Because we are dealing with the complex number. So complex mode is simply referring to that mode that we use when it involves a complex number. So let's go back to mode. Number 3 would be start. Start simply means statistical calculations. When you are dealing with computations that involve statistics, like single variable statistical calculations, when you want to calculate the standard deviation, or maybe a kind of sample standard deviation, the mean and the variance and all that, the sum, you simply use start. Let's take, for example, if we take number 1, you can put all the values that you want. Let's take random values like 2 is equal to 3 is equal to 50 is equal to 60, and many values. Simply press the AC sign. That data that you already put in the calculator is already stored. So if you want to go back to the data, simply press shift and number 1. You will have the data as number 2. If you press 2, it will bring back the data that you impute in the calculator. So let us go back. Assuming that we don't want the data, maybe we want the summation. We want to know how many data that we have put in that in the calculator. You take number 3. If you take number 3, you take option number 2. Option number 2 will give you the mean. So the total number that we have saved in this calculator is 115. So that's how we manipulate the statistical mode. Let's go back to statistic mode, which is number 3. Let's assume that it is a kind of linear where we are going to be given x and y. Let's take number 2, and we can take random values like 8, like 50, let's say 30, and let's go to the value for y. Let's take 3, let's take 60, and let's take 20. Now we have stored this number in the calculator. We can as well take it out, and we decide to go back to the same number, and we want to calculate the sum. We just take 3, and we are calculating the sum of x or the sum of y. If you take 2, it will be the sum of x. If you go back, for instance, and you want to calculate the sum of y, take 3 again, and to calculate the sum of y, you simply take 4. And this is exactly how you manipulate the summation you can use the same values to find the variance, the standard deviation, and many other functions that you will find using the statistics mode. So let us go back to the same calculator in the calculator mode. If we press the mode, and the next thing you see, number 4 is base n. Base n refers to binary numbers, like when we talk about the octal or even the decimal, the hexadecimal number system calculations. When you have such numbers, you use base n. Then we have the equation mode. Equation mode refers to, we have, if you press number 5, you will have linear equation, you have quadratic equation, you have polynomial equations, you have different kind of equation. When you have anx plus bny is equals to cn, this is simply a simple linear equation that you simply need to compute. And if we have equations with 3 variables like a, b, c, you need to find the value of a, x, y, and z. In this case, you use the function which is number 2. And if you have quadratic equation that is the coefficient of x is greater than 1, you simply use the next equation, which is number 3. So we use this calculator for equations. So equations, when it comes to n degree equations, simultaneous equations, we simply go to equation mode in our calculator and see how to manipulate that. So let us go back to mode. If you go back to mode, you have the next we have table mode, which is number 7. Table mode, we use that table mode to generate a number table based on one or two functions. When you are required to generate table, for instance, let's press number 7, and you can have your equation, for instance, maybe 7, you have 7x, like alpha x plus 3 is equal to, maybe you have been given some numbers where you need to start. Let's say we are starting from 2 and we end to about 5, and we are taking step of 1, for instance. It automatically generates the table for us, and it makes the work very easier for us. Now we have the table, and from this table we can actually deal with other computations. Let's go back to mode. If you go back to mode, you have matrices. Matrices is number 6. Let's take number 6. Now we have different kinds of matrices. We have matrix A, matrix B, and matrix C. And let's take number 1, for instance. If that matrix A is m by n, we need to now know if the matrix is 3 by 3 matrix, is it 4 by 4 matrix, is it 3 by 2 matrix, is it 2 by 2 matrix, is it 3 by 1, or is it 2 by 1. Whatever kind of matrices you are given, you can simply use your calculator to compute and find the answer to that matrix. You can as well use this calculator to find the determinant of those matrices. Let's say, for instance, if we are given 3 by 3 matrices, you can simply put number 1. Inside number 1, it gives you 3 rows and 3 columns. Inside these 3 rows and 3 columns, you can actually now put the matrices, the values that you were given. Let's take random values like 2 is equals to 3 is equals to 5 is equals to 6 is equals to 9 is equals to -1 is equals to -3 is equals to 2 is equals to. Now you have all the values of these matrices indicated. Now from this, you can actually put it off. Now if you want to go back to matrices, simply press shift, and number 4 will be matrices. Which type of matrices are you looking for? Remember, we put matrix A, and matrix A is option number 3. You have it there. So if you want to go back, you simply go back. If you want the determinant of these matrices, you take number 7. Take number 7, and if you take number 7 of these numbers, you simply continue with this in order to find the determinant of those matrices and many other things that we can compute using our calculator. We have the display settings in the calculator. We have many other things and functionalities that we can actually explore with this scientific second edition standard calculator. For example, when we come to display setting, we use this setting to control how calculation results are displayed. We know that if you change the fix and the scientific setting of that calculator, it can indirectly affect the result that you will get. So you can as well minimize the lightning in your calculator and as well increase the light of your calculator. There are so many things we can do using this scientific calculator. Catch me in the next video where I will review some other key elements that its functionality is essential when we talk about this Casio FX 991ES Plus, which is the standard scientific calculator for those in mathematics, physics, chemistry, and even biology. See you in our next video. Don't forget to click on the subscribe button if you are joining us in this channel. I remain your friend, Augustine Galagas. God bless you.